Welcome to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. You can follow us at Facebook at Freeform Network, on Twitter, FFR Podcast. And remember to send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Freeform Radio is on the air. I want to welcome Danny.
Yes, sir. Full from the turkey, man. Gearing up for Christmas now, man.
And it's all good, Andy. Hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. We're rolling straight head on into the Christmas season. But as the day of this recording, today's to all our Jewish fans is the first day of Hanukkah. So I guess you say shalom. But
Is that how you say it? Oh.
I don't know. Shalom means awesome or something. I don't know. I watch too many damn shows, but we welcome everybody. Everybody get ready for the Christmas season, Hanukkah season, Kwanzaa, et cetera, et cetera. But we're here. We're gonna try to walk off some of this turkey that we had this year or this past week is the recording. But it looks like Danny said, "Fuck the turkey, I'm tired," and bought Dave Portnoy's Barstool's pizza, the one bite frozen pizza. I've seen a lot of reviews. I mean, it gets a lot of love on the internet, but I can't find it. It looks like you found one.
Yeah, I found one on at Walmart, and I was really excited for it. Junior is a fan of the YouTube show.
The one bite?
Yeah, the one bite. Everybody knows the rules. He reviews pizzas from local establishments, not really big box places. But I think he does big boxes on occasion.
He's done Little Caesars. He's done Costco. He's done, I think he did a Sbarro's. He's done here in Chicago, like the big one. I mean, I don't know if they're big box Giordano's and such, but yeah.
Yeah. He's tried quite a few. I mean, he's goes all over the U.S. But yeah, whenever he comes to Chicago, it's really excited to see what place he's gonna go, and hopefully it's a place you recognize. Like when he did Pequod's, I was really excited, but he kind of gave it a so-so review, which I disagree. I think Pequod's is awesome. So, but at least that's my opinion. I know I like it. But yeah,
I think he's just being Dave Portnoy. I mean, I don't know. It's Barstool Sports, but I think he has a tendency to shit on everything after the East Coast, so Midwest, West Coast, and the South. I mean, if you look at his reviews on the East Coast, those pizzas are like, he doesn't shit on them, but a lot of the Chicago stuff, he's like, it's good, but it's not like this is the shit, you know?
I do get that feeling. Like he hates it more because people love it so much.
Yes.
Here. So he's like wants to be a contrarian.
Contrarian.
Yeah. So he wants to be the opposite of these people, and especially because the guys that usually drive him up there, I forget what the guy's name is. White Sox,
Dave,
and the fatter guy.
Chicago.
Every time they bring him out there, man, it's like they're really hyped up. Like they took him to Gin and Jude's, and after he ate it, he was just like, "Yeah, man, this is a hot dog, dude." I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's like, what are you so excited about? But to me, man, I'm like, oh man, you're crazy, man. That's a great hot dog, man. That's the best hot dog you can go out there. I mean, anytime I'm out,
style hot dog, yeah.
Right. Anytime I'm out there in that area, I gotta go stop by and pick up a hot dog.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, for people who don't know, me and Danny like literally grew up 10 minutes from there, maybe 15 minutes if there's traffic. And it is a Chicago staple, along with the other place they went to, Johnny's Beef on that's on North Avenue, right? And then there's always a fucking line there, and then they took him there too, and he was just like, yeah, it's all right, man. Like, it's just fucking beef or whatever.
Right. It was just like, yeah, it's just a hot dog, you know. It's like there's really not much you can do with it. But I disagree. I think it's a total package thing. But anyways, I digress and get back to this frozen pizza. I bought it. I was really excited. I saw it. It was kind of expensive for one pizza. I think it was like $5.
That's not bad.
Well, I mean, that's like DiGiorno's price, like up there, stuffed crust kind of stuff. To me, it's like it's a premium price. It's not the 3 for $10 kind of thing pizzas, where it's more budget price, you know, Jack's or Tombstones or stuff like that. So I right away got that, this is a premium pizza. So we got home and Junior, he was really excited. Junior's a really big cheese fan, pizza. He likes frozen pizzas a lot. So we threw it in the oven. We followed the instructions. We did it. It came out and it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't anything great. I was like, I guess, expecting a lot. So when I ate it, I was just like, it has like a different kind of cheese. It's not like the
Premium.
typical, yeah, it's not like the typical stuff that you eat. This is like a Parmesan mozzarella mix kind of thing, and it's got kind of like a zesty taste to it. And then the sauce was okay. That wasn't too bad, but the cheese is what's really weird and unique. And I guess I just don't have that palate for it, that I didn't really care for it too much.
Maybe just throwing this out there, Dan. Maybe it's the way you baked it in the oven. I got a pizza oven that I bought on a Black Friday many moons ago. And when we buy a premium frozen pizza, we bust that motherfucker out, especially on thin crust. Because sometimes when you throw it in there compared to the oven and the pizza oven, the I know you like your thin crust like crusty,
Right. Yeah, have it
crispy.
crispy. Right.
Yeah, and those that oven does it. I don't know if it's more the one bite pizza. Is it more doughy or is it just getting like the cheese or the crust?
I mean, I'll give you that. Maybe if I had like a pizza legit oven contraption thing, then maybe it would have tasted better. But to contradict that, I cook all my pizzas this way. So all my pizzas are graded in the same grade because every pizza that I've ever made is in this fashion. So to me, this is the way frozen pizza is supposed to taste. And when I tasted it, it wasn't so much that it was soft. It was okay. It was crispy enough, but it was the cheese that kind of threw me off. And I didn't hate it. I ate the slice, but Junior wouldn't even. He took like 2 bites and he's just like, "Nah, I'm not eating this.
You're
This
like, you
isn't
better
good."
eat this shit. It was $6.
So me and Alana had to finish the rest. But yeah, not the best. Not terrible, but not the best frozen pizza I've had.
Yeah, I've been trying to find it. I haven't seen it, but I keep thinking because everybody's like overhyping it, so I'm like, I gotta check it out. But yeah, I see the reviews on Twitter, and I'm a big fan of Barstool, Sports and Barstool Chicago and Dave Portnoy, and so yeah, I gotta check it out. I know my wife during the pandemic, he was doing all those. That's when I introduced her to the one bite, and she
Right,
kind of liked it. And when he started trying the frozen pizzas, like when he was in his apartment,
right.
that he was doing some hilarious shit, and she liked it. And she's like, and then he did give some frozen pizzas really like, man, this is really good fucking pizza. And he had like a little pizza oven, so it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, when he was doing the unboxings afterwards, because he was getting all this like Amazon packages, and then it
Yeah,
became a whole thing where
yeah.
these episodes used to be like 5, 10 minutes long. Now grew into like half an hour of
Just
unboxing.
streaming stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it took forever. But yeah, I'm still a fan. I'm a stockholder actually of Barstool. So yeah, kind of shitting on my own stocks here, but hopefully it doesn't affect my stocks and they
The
keep
next
going up in
stockholder meeting, you
price.
can shit on
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right.
And shit, you pussy here, man.
But yeah, I'm still a fan. Maybe it was just a cheese one. Maybe if I got like a supreme one or one with sausage or something, it might be different. But just the plain cheese, I didn't care for too much. But yeah, jumping onto something else. I know I've been talking about it for a while, but I finally bought my truck. I finally bought a Toyota RAV4. It's a hybrid, and you know, it's a good truck, man. I'm pretty satisfied with it. Um, After driving it now for a couple of weeks now, I'm still getting kind of used to it. I feel like it's got a slow acceleration at times, especially if you're trying to be eco. Because the thing is that the car will crap on you for driving too fast, and it'll tell you like, "Hey, you want to save gas? Slow down." and it'll give you like prompts and tell you shit that, kind of start talking shit to you. So I feel guilty, man. I'm like, let me take it easy. And so I got slow acceleration going off of the light or whatever. And I feel like the cars behind me are hating me even more, especially because they probably see that hybrid emblem and they're just like, oh man, here comes one of these tree hugger guys. And, I don't hug trees, man. I just want to save a couple. So I try to drive slow at the takeoff so I can get good fuel economy. But at the same time, it's just like, dude, man, I need to pick it up a little bit. And then as soon as you press the gas down a little bit, you do get responsive and it does pick up nice. But then the needle jumps over to the consumption of gas side, and it just tells you, yeah, you're burning a shitload of gas right now instead of using the majority of the battery. So, you know, I don't know how to drive it. I don't know if I should continue to want to get that awesome fuel economy, or if I should drive it more like I would drive a normal car. And on takeoffs, I might be burning a shitload of gas, but then once I get going, maybe I ease back and kind of go back to, saving gas. But a lot of its gas saving is in stop and go traffic. So it's at that acceleration point where you're using the most amount of fuel. So I feel like if I don't drive easy, I might not be getting the most benefits out of this hybrid truck. But I'm still happy. It's a lot of room. My family's really happy. They finally got some space. We had a Corolla before, which was an awesome car. I really loved it. Has This truck has a little bit more pickup than that Corolla, but the Corolla had a similar thing, except the Corolla was not responsive. You could, put the gas down and it would take a minute for it to tell you, oh, okay, you want to move? All right, let me start moving, kind of thing. But the truck is responsive, but I feel guilty doing it. So I don't know. I don't know how to drive this thing now.
The the RAV4, it won't adjust to your driving, or is it just gonna be constantly nagging you?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating, but there is prompts that tell you, and then at the end of your trip, it gives you a grade. So it's a 1 through 100, and it gives you like an eco grade of how you drove. And I noticed that when I kind of disregard it, like I was driving it on, I think it was Thursday or for Thanksgiving, and there was a lot of people out on the roads, and I'm like, these people aren't gonna be wanting to wait. So I drove more like I normally drive. I accelerated pretty quick. I did all my usual stuff, and when I got to the party, to the Thanksgiving party, I got a really shitty grade. I got like a 50 or something. And I've noticed that when I do that chill drive and I kind of take it easy, I'm more in the 70s or 80s. So I kind of feel, guilty. I don't know if I'm gonna get the most out of this hybrid if I drive it like I normally drive, which I don't really have that lead of a foot, but I do like to maintain the flow of traffic. I don't want to be the guy kind of slowing everything down where people get frustrated and go around me because they're like, this guy's accelerating too slow.
I think the RAV4 is gonna make you that guy.
I know, man. To me, I'm one of those guys before. If I would be behind a guy that's accelerating slower than what I think is reasonable, I would go around people like that all the time in my Corolla. And I feel like if I use the hybrid system to its max, I'm going to be one of those guys where people are going to be going around me. Even though I eventually get to the speed limit and I drive a little bit more than the speed limit occasionally, I think people are going to get frustrated and be like, I don't got 10 seconds, 30 seconds to wait for this guy to go 40 miles per hour. I'm going to gun it and get up, and start going max travel as fast as I can. So I don't know.
A lot of
I don't
those
know.
guys in pickup trucks, Danny.
Over here by where I live, yeah. There's a lot of pickup drivers, a lot of, homeboys that, they got their trucks, they got their, big ass gas guzzlers, and they don't care about, anything other than hunting, eating and barbecuing and shit like that. So yeah, it's different, man. I'm still happy with the purchase. I'm hoping to save some gas. I'm hoping to make it a little more economically friendly. But yeah, I'm happy with everything else except this feeling guilt for kind of driving slow or driving fast. So I'll
Now
have to
those
figure it out.
prompts that you're talking about, the grades and all that, is there a way you could turn that off, or is that just automatic?
I know the grades at the end of the ride, it pops up. I'm assuming there might be a setting to turn all those things off. And really, if you don't really care about it, you just could turn off your car and disregard it. Don't even look at it. But it does come up on your display since there's a lot of digital displays everywhere now. It pops up right in the front, right when you're turning off the car. Because the other thing with the hybrid is most of the time when it's running on the battery, you don't even hear anything. The car sounds totally silent, like there's nothing going on. So when you turn it off, it sounds the same as if it was on, except you get a prompt that the system is shutting down, kind of thing. So you're almost forced to look at the screen to make sure that you press the button to turn it off and the thing is going to be idling down and going to sleep. So you get this prompt like, oh, okay, here's your grade. You drove like an asshole. I'm going to give you a 40 today. So
You're like, fuck you. I'm gonna give you a fucking 100 and put this motherfucker down, the pedal to the metal, man.
right. I am still kind of breaking it in, so I haven't done just that yet, but I'm almost done with my break-in period. And then who knows? Maybe I'll put the pedal to the metal and see what kind of grade it'll give me. But yeah, so far so good. I'm happy. Lots of room for the family. Dog likes it even, so we're all pretty happy with the upgrade and more leg room for sure. But the last little quick thing I wanted to talk about was it doesn't look to me as big of a thing in the media anymore. But I know that Chicago police vaccine mandate was a big thing a week or two ago, and it looks like I believe I read somewhere that they postponed it or they made some kind of agreement with the Chicago police fraternity or whatever
The
they call it,
union.
the union, and they pushed it off where it's not a mandate just now, but it's strongly recommended. But I know this was a big point of contention where there was people actually even quitting the police department or taking like vacation days where they would take like 2 weeks of vacation all at the same time, and the city was scrambling to try to, recoup, workers so that they can patrol the streets. I don't know if you heard about this or if you even read anything about it.
No, I mean, the whole COVID mandate thing is like, I know a lot of, especially within local, state, and federal government, uh, the mandate. I thought it was gonna kick in like the federal, like in January, got pushed out, I believe, and then locally, people are still negotiating or still trying to figure things out. Because I know in New York, I think they kind of mandated, like supposedly they fired like 1,000, like a ton of nurses. I don't know the details, but the Chicago police, I know they wouldn't. They let the union president stop talking, put a gag order on him.
Right.
And at this point, with the mandates and then the announcement over the weekend of a new strain or whatever mutated, I mean, how much effect is that going to have on that version? And maybe they need to reassess stuff. I don't know. I mean, to this point, in all across the country, especially in Europe and Australia, there's a lot of protest against the passports, vaccine passports and mandates. I mean, there's a ton of protesting, and nobody here is talking about it. I mean, America seems to be kind of like numb to it. So yeah, it's to me, it's it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people here in the U.S. realize what's going on across the seas. But yeah, there's a lot of unrest, like in Israel and not like the typical stuff with governments and other
No.
political things. It's about the vaccine and the
Yeah.
mandates
Yeah.
and how the country is forcing a lot of people to get the vaccine. Otherwise, you cannot do business as usual, which it has not become that here in the U.S. just yet. It's more like they're using the employment force to kind of put that onto them where,
They're fucking with people's money. I mean, that's what it
right,
comes down to. It that in America, it's always about a big part of anything in American culture is about money, right? So people who work, I mean, they're gonna start fucking with their monies, and that's when people really get upset. And some people are like, I got to do this. I got a family. I got to pay a mortgage. And other people are like, fuck that. I ain't doing this. And they got families too. So it turns into that struggle. I mean, for rights, and then are putting food on the table. And the government is, I mean, there's no laws. You keep just seeing mandates. Mandate. That's like the new thing lately. The mandate. The mandate don't mean it's a law. So there's all this legal ease also going on, and eventually it's gonna. I think overall, a big part of America is like, fuck COVID. I ain't afraid of it no more. And I'm vaccinated. They got their vaccination, and like I'm done. Whatever happens, happens. And I think that's where we're at this point in America, and a lot of people know that you can't reverse this shit. So it is what it is, and let's just get this shit going, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of people get sick and they recover, and there's people who have higher risk. We all know that, and they need to be. The vaccine could help them, and you just go from there.
yeah, yeah, man. It's kind of scary when you see what other countries are going with, especially like Australia. I saw some
Yeah,
videos the other day, and it looks scary, man. It looks like these people are basically under arrest. They're like in a house arrest until they, consent to getting vaccinated, which is
and
crazy.
and another thing, I mean, not to get off on a tangent, but in Australia, I think over a decade ago, maybe they confiscated a lot of guns. I mean,
Right.
the average citizen can have it. In America, you see what's going on. I mean, with the recent verdicts, and they're trying to. I think a lot of that helps that a lot of Americans are armed. So I mean, who knows? I mean, it's just, yeah, it's fucked up. I don't want to say it's a complicated issue, but there's people. I mean, it's the the virus is spread, and at this point, I don't even know how many Americans in the last 2 years have actually got infected. I know the deaths. They keep publicizing the death. At what point, what percentage of American people have had it? I mean, they never really tell you that. They just tell you how many people are vaccinated and how many people die. So at what point are we, I mean, technically or at a herd immunity? And then like with each variant, we just know it becomes more and more easily transmissible, so that kind of freaks people out,
Right.
and but are people dying? Or I mean, they just keep telling you people are dying, and that's all they keep telling you, and how many people are get the cases, but like they don't tell you how many people actually recuperate, and you got to dig through all this information to see all that shit. I mean, here they stopped reporting. I mean, I kind of looked at the numbers for a long time. I look at them daily, and some of the sources I go to, they don't even report it. Then the news media is like, oh, the cases have rose. We're at this percentage now, and like, but they haven't reported it for like 2 weeks. So that, to me, that means the numbers were probably really low, and now that the numbers spike, they're like trying to freak people out. But people here, they're out and about, man. I don't think they're afraid anymore.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I know that when it was at its peak, the news was broadcasting the I forget what they even call it, but the percentage rate
Yeah,
of people or
per
whatever.
thousand or whatever,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
100,000 or whatever.
And they don't do that anymore because it got below the threshold where, they feel comfortable. But I think this is going to be something that's going to be with us forever. So I think we just need to learn how to deal with it and not let it consume our lives anymore. But from one controversy to another, Andy, why don't you tell me about this Rachel Nicholson? She's like a reporter, right? Or
Yeah.
some kind of
So
analyst.
yeah. So I mean, let me go to this. The reason I want to talk about that, I got into everybody this year. I mean, I haven't really watched the Bulls because I've been focused on uh, football, baseball, and football is kind of winding down. The Bears suck. College football is winding down. And then this whole time, there's been people telling me, "Man, the Bulls are good. The Bulls are good." And I'm like, "The Bulls? You still watch that shit?" And I kind of kept like in the background. To me, usually if I was into basketball, I would start watching it around Christmas Day. That's when I would really get into it. And yeah, man, there's people at work. You should watch them. They're good. They got a good team. They got a good team. And I mean, they started off kind of good, and they're I think third in the East, third or fourth is the time of this recording. And every time I kind of see on like social media how they're doing, how they're winning games, and they seem to be doing really good. And I was just like, man, maybe I should start see the Bulls. I mean, because the last couple years they've been fucking brutal. They had a couple good runs with D Rose and all that, but once he got injury prone, him and Butler, Noah, and they rebuilt this year, and they got some free agents, and everything is looking great. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking about starting to watch them around maybe this month once all this football shit gets settled, because the Bears ain't gonna do shit. We heard about the rumors of Nagy getting fired, and that ain't gonna happen. Uh, when I jumped on this morning, I was on Twitter real quick. There's already rumors that it's all but confirmed Nagy and Pace are fucking done at the end of the year. So um, we'll see how that goes. But the Bulls. Getting back to the Bulls, because the Blackhawks suck this year. I mean, they got their own scandal going on too, with doctors touching boys and shit. It's just a fucking mess.
Whoa.
And the Bulls seem to turn it around. And I'm still on the fence, like if I should watch it or just bandwagon jump after New Year's.
Yeah, I've watched like a half of a game, but that's about it. But I gotta say, the last time I was really into it was like the Jordan era, and after that, I kind of like glanced at basketball, but I was never a huge basketball fan. I was more to baseball and football. But yeah, man, it's exciting to know that they're doing okay this season. So it does kind of make me kind of interested in watching it as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like the Bulls have been off my radar. I would watch um, after Rose left a couple games on like the first week. I'm like, this is fucking brutal. I can't watch this. I can't commit my time to this shit. And somebody at work be like, the Bulls suck. I'm like, bro, like they haven't been relevant in a while. And then this year, early on, man, they're good. They're good. They're good. And I kind of noticed when they beat the Lakers the other day, but LeBron wasn't playing with them. And I'm like, eh. And then, I started looking at the standings, and everyone, on Twitter, like, oh, they won again. They won again. And so I'm like, I looked at the standings. Yeah, I mean, they started off hot. So we'll see. I probably might jump on that bandwagon and see what happens this year, because, like I said, man, football, I mean, Notre Dame's doing all right. And then, but the Bears, they're done. I mean, they're fucking done this year. And, uh, the fucking coach should have been fired a couple years ago, along with the GM. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I don't know. I might going back to the Bulls with a ball in them. Let me see. I might get on the fence because you get so fucking disappointed with them. Yeah, and then like you don't want to commit that time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. The Bulls, to me, or basketball in general, I've had difficulties these last couple of years watching, especially with LeBron. I'm really starting to get irked by him. It just makes me not even watch any basketball. He's I don't know, man. He's such a douchebag. I feel bad. I feel bad not watching it because, like you said, the Bulls are doing okay, but it's difficult to watch it with that guy, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind LeBron. I mean, he's the star of the league at this moment, and the league they need him. And I mean, he's good. I mean, he's good. He's won championships with multiple teams, so I mean, good for him. I mean, but I
Right.
don't
I
know. I
guess
don't
I'm
know if
talking
he's
more of his attitudes.
yeah.
Like I heard the other day he had some fans kicked off because they were heckling him.
Yeah, he went out carrying on him. Yeah.
Right. And so, and then he's such a nasty player, man. I saw some other thing where he like elbowed some guy in the face, and you could tell from the replay it looks intentional. Like, what the hell's going on with this guy? And
Yeah,
to
it
me,
was intentional. Yeah.
I get like a really bad vibe from him. Like he's intentionally an asshole and a bad guy. And I don't know. I think his character is not the greatest, but that's for everybody to judge on their own, and not for me to say. But yeah.
It's okay. Shit on him. Everybody else does.
Well, I don't want I don't want to be like him, where he saw that one kid crying and then he started poking fun of him. I I don't want to be like that. I don't want to put my uh thoughts out there to be like, this is the definitive. Those are just my thoughts, and everybody's free to come up with their own judgment or whatever on him.
Yeah, it's cool, man. As long as you shit on his not his political beliefs, but what he does on the court, I think you'll be all right.
Right? Shit on that fake weave that he's got on his head.
Yeah, exactly. So that spray on shit that he be doing. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, getting back to the Bulls here. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. They got a good head coach, Donovan, and I like Thibodeau when he was there. Just people got tired of his act, and he wasn't winning. So we'll see, man. Like I might, in January, those Midwest winters kind of suck, and there's not really much going on except basketball. I might be watching a couple games and see how the Bulls are doing by then, and then because it really picks up after Christmas, the NBA. So I'll keep everybody in the loop if I'm watching them or if I'm not. I'll have a follow up on one of the later episodes. But going to that, the reason I was watching all this bullshit on YouTube, and it got me into the Rachel Nichols controversy. I don't know how much you know about it. Then I mean, a couple months ago, she got not released. They took her off her own show. From what I understand at this moment, I didn't dig too deep into it. She's still under contract with ESPN allegedly. They just don't have her doing anything. And she made some comments about a fellow colleague who's African American and a woman, and she got the last year's NBA Finals. She normally did the sideline reporting, and they gave it to her, and they recorded. She was taught what this is where the controversy. There's two controversies. So the first one is she got yanked off of that. Everybody was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then earlier in the year, this recording got released where she was saying that they only put the reporter that replaced her because she was African American, and she was like, "Oh, they're trying to be more have more diversity on TV because ESPN allegedly doesn't has been the most diversity driven company, especially on TV." So that was this whole issue, and I was just like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Who the hell is she talking to?" And it came out she was talking to one of LeBron James' inner circle people. I think like a publicity guy or something. And I'm just like, well, who recorded this phone call, right? That was like my first thing. Like what she said was people attacked her. She got canceled and everything. Like, and and then my whole back story into this guy. This is why I was like on YouTube, like this led me down this rabbit hole, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how did this get recorded? And no one talked about how this got recorded or how it got out. So they're saying that when they were doing some like Zoom or some app, she accidentally hit the record button, and it got out. So I find that kind of weird, and there's people coming out that believe that they were recording. Somebody allegedly was recording her all her communications and all this through her iPad and all this stuff, and it kind of got weird. And I was just like, damn, like Rachel Nichols isn't even that good. I mean, I it's just like if someone talks, before we, how we record here, Nan, and how we have that banter preparing for the show, we're bullshitting and shit, and someone took a snippet of that and uploaded it, seeing like, see, Andy's a fucking asshole. He doesn't like fucking pandas or some shit, and like, but how did that get out? Either I would imagine it was somebody internally or the person I was talking to, right? There's only
Right.
3 people who have access to this, and they're still not sure how because people were like, well, this is private, like this is illegal, and all this shit. And so that's my only like, interesting,
Right.
how the fuck how did that get leaked out? It's always amazing now how stuff gets leaked out, and that's my only like red flag. That, like, I'm not saying she got set up, but who's recording all this shit?
Yeah, I kind of vaguely knew of her, and I gotta say it's becoming more and more common to have women analysts in sports. And I gotta admit, at first when they were first coming out, it was difficult adjustment, just because I was so used to the John Maddens, the guys talking about sports. But it's become so frequent now that to me, I kind of just see it as a regular analyst. I don't really go like, oh, here's some woman talking that I don't care about. Um, so I didn't know too much of this lady in particular, but I did kind of Google it a little bit when I saw you were going to talk about it, and I saw she was in some hot water. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. Who's doing the recording nowadays? Everybody has smartphones. I knew of a guy that anytime we went into a meeting, he would hit the record button on his phone just so that he could have a
Damn.
recorded copy of the conversation in case anything was said or anything happened, and he can, legally rebuke it if there was any issues. And I knew a guy like that, and I caught him once doing it. He was trying to do it all on the download, and I asked him, and he's like, I have hundreds of these recordings. Anytime I go into a meeting, I always record it to make sure that if anything is said and it comes back to me that, oh, well, you said this, I'll be like, no, I didn't. Here's the recording. Boom. This is what was said, kind
Mic
of thing.
drop. You're
Right.
like, I'm not allowing to be anybody to record me and shit. Like, you fucking illegal now, motherfucker.
Right.
But
But yeah,
it's
it's
such a
curious to see
gray
what
area
happened.
now where everything's fucking recorded. So, I mean, again, I'm not defending her comments. I mean, but to me, like you can't always just fucking like believe what the mainstream media tells you, right? So you gotta dig some research. And my second thing was like, damn, this is kind of fucked up. Like, she lost her show. They can't. The next day her show was called The Jump. She made a comment like, look, I said these things. I respect the colleague I made the comments about. I apologize. They still yanked her off her show and it got canceled. And she's just sitting at home. But my thing is like, okay, so this came out, like, who the fuck is recording phone calls? To me, that's like weird. So to me, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like she must have pissed somebody off or somebody over at ESPN. So allegedly, I mean, I don't know. But the other thing, going back to, because Rachel Nichols, I've known of her for a long time. She left ESPN to go to work for TNT and NBC, and she came back. And she's always been, there's always been all this innuendo about she's banging all these basketball players. I mean, I don't know if you know that allegedly. She's always had this like, it's
Which
always
is
been
not.
talked
There's
about
nothing wrong with it.
rumors.
That's her prerogative, man.
Hey man, I'm just saying, whatever. But the one that caught my eyes, or the one that caught, perked my ears was, or this weekend, you remember Jimmy Butler, right? He was with the Bulls. This is
Right.
how I guess it got led to in my feed on my YouTube page. They were chanting to him at this game. They were shouting her name to him. They were like Rachel Nichols, Rachel Nichols, and he's like having like this shit grin. I'm like, what's all this about, right? So I Googled that and I saw the videos. So allegedly, when the pandemic started, the NBA had a bubble. Do you remember that, Danny? They were like stuck in Orlando and they couldn't leave the facilities.
Right. That first year of COVID.
Yeah, so Rachel Nichols was in the bubble, and her and like Jimmy Butler. So how this shit started was that there was a noise complaint at Jimmy Butler's hotel room that there
Damn.
was like all this thumping going on. And people are like, man, people trying to fucking sleep up in here, man. What the fuck? So they sent security. He said that he knocked on the door and he opened the door and it's Jimmy Butler, like all fucking sweaty and breathing hard. And he's just like, yo, man, everything all right? There's people here thumping. He's like, bro, I'm working on my dribbling. Leave me alone. And he closed the door. And the word is, all that thumping was that allegedly Rachel Nichols was in there and he was handling business, man. And like more than like a bunch of other people are like saying this allegedly, and it's just had me fucking laughing, dude. So like, and she's fucking married and shit. So I don't know. To me, I'm just like, damn, Jimmy Buckets took care of business up in there, man.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I didn't hear about all that. I did see while I was quickly Googling her that, yeah, there was something connected to Butler, but I didn't really read into it.
Yeah, that he was handling business, bro. He won game 2 of the finals and he went afterwards to celebrate with Rachel Nichols and he's going to town breaking that back or some shit. I don't know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, Yeah, so, yeah, and nobody's denied it. And then, that's the big fucking rumor, in that he hasn't denied it. When some of the fellow NBA players asked him about it, he has not fucking denied it.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy, man. This thing sounds like it's a lot more than just a couple emails or voicemails or whatever that she was
So
caught
man, I
in.
was like, if ESPN was following her or recording everything, like, is there a video about that shit, man? Because it's I'm going down that conspiracy hole, but it's just all I know is Rachel Nichols, everywhere she's been, there's always been conspiracy. And not conspiracy. She's always had controversy. I remember during the pandemic, I forgot the basketball player. He was doing like a live stream on Twitter, and he was smoking blunts or something, and there was all these people playing poker, and there was all these like I guess there were strippers. I mean, I don't know. They're all dancing, shaking that booty, and someone wrote on that comment, "What is where's Rachel Nichols?" And he said something, oh, like allegedly, like what I recall, I don't remember, but like, oh, she's gonna be here later or something. So I was like, God damn, man, like, and it started like trending and shit, and I was just like, this woman can't catch a break, man. Everybody just shitting on her right and left.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's kind of bad, man. When you fraternize with, the workers or whatever at whatever company you're with, you gotta expect that that's gonna happen. Where you know people are gonna start talking about relationships you might have, or conversations that you had because you're a little friendly with these coworkers. And I could see where that could become a problem, man, for sure. So, not saying that she has to be a nun and not, have these kind of relations. That's on her own, if she wants to have them or not. But, conversations like this are going to be happening between the guys, I would assume.
But a big part of it is like at some point, I'm like with you. Like she wants to, she can do whatever she wants. She's grown. She's an adult, right? But at some point, that's starting to impact her job, and like that was just like one situation, and then this, and then finally they're like, she just has too much baggage. Like we don't want to deal with this no more. And like I think the final, maybe after that, they started like, how can we get rid of this woman? Or like let's sideline her because ESPN is notorious for just letting people go once their contract is up. They don't renew them, and they do it time and time again. And Rachel Nichols is a name. I mean, I remember when initially starting at ESPN, went to TNT and NBC, and like the other one was Michelle Beadle. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She was big on NBA basketball. She had her own show. She was a big wrestling fan. There was rumors too that she's been hooking up with CM Punk a while back, and like it was just like she got let go. She was an outspoken critic of the NFL for all those when the players got beating up women or girlfriends. She was like super outspoken about that, and like now you don't even see her. I mean, she's not anywhere. She was like big time like ESPN for a while until she started criticizing stuff like players, because the NFL has a great relationship with ESPN, all that corporate media stuff, and she just disappeared. I mean, I think she's once in a while I check out her Twitter and she's post some stuff, but yeah, I mean, that's what happens.
Wow, not so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is what it is. But with that being said, let's roll into, speaking of these women, let's go into our article of the week. So I got to me, the article is this week, a tech. This is from the Daily Mail, and I found this interesting. This guy basically looked like he owned the town. He's a tech billionaire, Michael Goguen. I hope I'm saying that right. But he is a Silicon Valley billionaire. He has denied allegations detailed by Forex employees that he had a ton of women in this Montana town, a harem of women who he paid with homes, jewelry, and travel. And then he owned a bar there, and they called it, and the room was called the Boom Boom Room under the bar, where he was banging all these women. And the people are suing him on $800 million, and he got fired from his hedge fund or whatever in 2016 because there was an assault claim. So, but the article starts that he denied claims that he keeps a harem of women in a small Montana town. He has cataloged his more than 5,000 sexual conquests in a spreadsheet and has local cops on his personal payroll.
Holy Christ!
So he had as a spreadsheet. He needs to see those metrics to see how he's banging all these women. He paid all these women, and like one of the women says that that he was sexually and physically abused by him. And his head security guy pretended to be some member of the Marine. So I mean, it was just I kept reading this on, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is like some Walking Tall shit. He is being sued by a ton of money. You see, here it goes. This is where I'm like, oh man, this is some real like fucking billionaire shit. He had once asked his employee to arrange a hit on a former friend who knew too much about his personal life. And then the retired Whitefish police chief now claims that the billionaire, whom he compared to serial predators like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, has to be stopped. Let me see. Countless of hours of forced sodomy by his former girlfriend, an exotic dancer. He had a complex operation to protect his simultaneous affairs. So he's just like, I can't just call these women up, man. I need like a system. So he hired people just to run this process of his women. He goes, the breakdown of the operation and the employees who helped run it can be traced through multiple guilty pleas by former employees and associates who threatened to speak out about alleged scheme. So he was asked to purchase out of his. So the problem what happened here, he would ask some of his workers to buy all these properties. He says he was being asked to purchase out his personal accounts, vehicles, jewelry, earnest money deposits on properties, and to provide cash and other items for his mistresses as hush money payoffs. Employees who had learned too much about the sexual misconduct and crimes in the lawsuit. He said that it was the best way to have him pay his property expenses, especially any expenses were solely through his safe houses. So they're asking for $800 million. So,
wow.
Yeah, this guy he had a ton of women, man.
Wow, when you first sent the article, I was just like, holy shit, man. I'm like, does it get to where when you have so much money that you believe you're invincible and things like this can't touch you, that you would expand yourself to such a great degree that, man, you don't think there's ever going to be a chance where you're going to get caught or somebody's going to give you some shit? I mean, to me, I don't get how this took on for so long and nobody mentioned anything prior. I mean, to me, it shouldn't have got to
You're above
5,000
the law,
chicks.
man.
Yeah.
You're a billionaire. I mean, you
Yeah.
could get away with so much shit. Like, look, he would give the women alcohol, travel, jewelry, cash, and healthcare expenses to perform other deviant sexual acts with him and maintain their silence as part of his sexual enterprise. I mean, it's a little stylized there, but he goes, he gave one woman a credit card and bought her a 5-bedroom house.
Yeah.
After her husband, a prominent businessman, found out about their affair. And he's like, I'm fucking divorcing you. So yeah, he had passcode built in. Yeah, I mean, like at this point, like, is it not? It's not, to me, when you have so much money. I mean, you're that fucking bored, and you're like doing all this crazy shit with women. Like, just hire fucking hookers, man. Like this is insane. You know what's insane, guys? We had some technical difficulties. That's why you're hearing me speak right now, because Danny didn't have a backup, and my copy only recorded up to that last segment. So here I am recording the outro, as we say in the biz. But you'll probably hear about it more on the next episode upload. What I had to go through to get this episode edited, because it has been a struggle, to say the least. But and I apologize to my wife. She's been hearing me cursing up a storm in the office here for the last hour or so. But the article does we go into a little bit more detail into the article, which you can read, about billionaires banging women and assaulting them. So it was my article. So, let us know what you think about it. And we appreciate your patience, because we're a small time podcast. And this is what we tell a lot of the people that listen and new listeners. It's a labor of love. So that being said, I want to thank you all for listening. Remember to send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Freeform Network. You can send all your questions to the email I mentioned before. Don't forget to check out our webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. Whatever media platform you like to listen to, we're pretty sure we're on it, and we're ready to add more as they come available. Whatever platform you listen to, like, subscribe, comment. That helps us out big time. And we're always on the standard YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and of course Podbean. So check it out. And this is All Good Andy. We'll catch you next time. And Danny, he's probably sleeping right now, so he'll get back to you guys next time. So you guys have a good week.
That was cool, Dad.